Hello, you beautiful one. I'm glad to be here with you. Okay, so none of us should have a question anymore. We have a claim, right? Okay, so now we're going to talk about counterclaims. So let's look at our slides here. We're on the fourth bullet here. Address counterclaims, and in order to do that, we need to analyze our research and research more. And you might be thinking, I don't even know what a counterclaim is. Don't worry, I'll explain it to you. Okay, so say the word counterclaim. Okay, so there's two parts to it. You know what a claim is. So counter would be against. So if you think of two teams, let's say I'm on the red team and I have this claim, and anything that these people say would be a counterclaim. And in order to address that, I need to have a rebuttal, okay? So here's an example. The blue team, okay? If we're thinking about deforestation, okay? That's where we cut down trees, and this is done to build roads or build homes or businesses. But the problem is, the cons are that without the trees, we have increased greenhouse gases, climate change, our planet's getting hotter. It's a problem which causes flooding and soil erosion. And so we really need these trees. They give off chemicals into the environment that help protect it. Okay, so here I am on the red team. I'm saying no more deforestation. We should not be cutting trees down, okay? So how can I address a counterclaim? With a rebuttal, right? Did you see that fire? Like, it's a good comeback. I got him. Okay, so first, acknowledge an argument from the opposing side. So let's say I'm on that red team. So an example is, okay, I agree. The removal of trees allows for the building of roads, which provides an economy, better transport, and trade, right? We need roads. Okay, I'm not saying we don't need roads. Okay, but I have to think of how I would have a comeback to that. And here's my example. Okay, well, city planning should prioritize preservation of forests and plan communities where tree cutting is either not necessary or minimal. Okay, so I say first thing, we need to just replan. If we already have kind of areas where there's no trees, that's where we should build homes. Okay, let's not go into areas where there's trees already and cut them down. Okay, then I even have another one. But should trees need to be removed, an initiative of tree planting should compensate for the trees that were removed. So if we do have to cut some trees down, let's count all those trees we had to cut, and that number of trees we're going to replant somewhere else. So essentially the environment has the same amount of trees. Okay, so that is addressing a counterclaim. And here are some sentence starters that help you. So when you're acknowledging an argument from the other side, you can say something like, some people may argue that, some people believe that, critics argue that, those who believe blah, 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 say that. Okay, and so I'll try putting these on one of mine. So a possible concern regarding this point is the removal of trees allows for the building of roads, which provides an economy with better transportation and trade. Or it is often thought that the removal of trees, blah, blah, blah. It is commonly believed that those who oppose, I could just put a comma here, may say that the removal of trees. Okay, then I get my fiery rebuttal. So I can say something like this. This may be an understandable concern. However, city planning should prioritize preservation. And if trees need to be cut down, we should plant some more. Or an argument or this argument is wrong because I don't think this sentence starter works in this situation, because it's not really an argument that's wrong. It's just a different value. How about this? The evidence, however, overwhelmingly supports the argument that, and we are not really presenting any evidence here. I mean, we could be, but this is more of just a logical thinking and an argument. Let's see, however, recent evidence actually demonstrates that. I like the first one, that this may be an understandable concern. However, that would work, the best one. Okay, so you get a, whoa, that just totally buzzed my eyes. Okay, so let me show you an example with my paper. Remember, I'm talking about whether companies implement AI ethically. And I found a lot of no's. So I could think by this point, someone's reading my paper, that they might be thinking, oh, then we shouldn't have any AI. No artificial intelligence, right? But no, so I need to say that in my paper. I'm not saying AI is bad. I'm saying we need to implement more policies or laws. And so here is my counterclaim. So, despite these challenges, AI research and development should not come to a screeching halt. Policymakers must weigh the challenges while recognizing the benefits. Consider this. For all of the ethical concerns that surround AI, experts argue that one of the most alarming is the potential for AI to lead to job displacement. In the manufacturing industry, for example, AI has led to the automation of certain jobs as companies realize that computers are more efficient at performing certain tasks. And I got this is my parenthetical citation that I got from an article. A study by KPMG showed that when AI was used to optimize routes for delivery trucks, it reduced fuel consumption and saved time by avoiding traffic and other bottlenecks. This means reductions in both costs and environment burden of one of the biggest sources of pollution in the world. Policymakers are already discussing strategies to mitigate negative effects and while fully leveraging the benefits and distributing them equally. Among these are retaining programs for workers whose jobs are at risk of being replaced by AI, or implementing a universal basic income in the future. Here's where I got that. By addressing these problems early on, the benefits of AI can outweigh the associated costs. Okay, so part of the standard for this is that we address at least 2 counterclaims. So I've written another one. It's another paragraph. Indeed, some states have made some legislative progress around AI when it comes to consumer data privacy and combating racial and gender discrimination. However, the U.S. is far behind Europe in policy making. This is where I got that. Since most states have not yet made policies regarding AI, it has become apparent that Congress needs to take a stronger lead. The U.S. desperately needs to assemble various teams of experts, such as task force, advisory boards, commissions, or councils. And these bodies can be the first step toward regulatory action as they submit reports containing policy recommendations that span a range of subjects, including employment, healthcare, education, and elections. Okay, so I'm basically saying that, okay, because the other side's saying, oh, well, look, there's some states who are implementing it ethically, but I'm saying, yeah, but it's not very many states, and we need more action. Okay, so that's my argument. Okay, so it's your turn. Present those rebuttals. Here are some sentence starters you can use. So you can just rewind this back to this slide so you can look at that while you're writing. But let's take a look at the rubric right here. We're all shooting for a 4 on component number 4. Strong rebuttals to at least 2 counterclaims. and they're supported by credible sources. Okay, so not just a logical argument. Let's try to, put some strength behind that by finding the evidence. Okay, so that's where you might need to do a little bit more research, because what we're doing is we're really trying to make our paper stronger by already addressing what the other side would say. Okay, think of it like this. Let's say you want to buy a new pair of shoes, okay? And you know what your parents are going to say, or your guardian is going to say. They're going to say, oh, they cost too much. So if you present your argument, hey, look, I need some new shoes, and I would like these ones. I know you might think it's too expensive, but look, maybe they're on sale. Or I can pitch in and do some extra chores to make up for that price difference. So that's what you're trying to do. You're attacking that counterclaim with a good rebuttal. Okay. And then when you're done, share it, and then I'll see you in the next lesson.